Welcome to the Theatre of the Mind live. Whoa, I got to very quickly. Yeah, hit that button very quickly. I'll wait and allow what's going on? Hang on. Just making sure that I am live and there we go. I'm just making sure that everything is working and there's no technical issues. And I'm not sure if you can see, but the string is back. My dealer landed. I've now got a year's supply of hibiscus. The Jacobite, thank you very much. You're most welcome. Thank you. I am going to start with quite a serious subject tonight. Ad Blackmore. We'll get to that in a moment. Thank you to everyone that's been commenting. I think we'll get straight into it rather than, I can go to some of the comments if you wish. Kaz987, welcome back. Normal service is resumed. Thank you, Kaz. To Mr. John, thank you, Tablock Tracy. A good evening to you. What's she up to now? Who's she flirting with? Now then, settle down. You at the back, John, sit down and blimey. John Honeyford, welcome, Adrian. Thank you, John. And thank you for your comments. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but the slight emergency earlier is now taken care of. Thankfully, everybody's well. Everybody is fine. It's fine. Tucker69. Hello, you wrong-uns. Hello, Tucker69. Stuart, evening, Adrian. Good to have you back. Yeah, wrong-un. Mind you, I will say, I'm sure you're exactly the same, but things in my life never are straightforward. Never. Now, tonight, I'm going to talk about AD in a moment, but if you want me to talk about Davos and insights that I can give you about Davos, then I'm more than happy to do that. But the new Mrs. Allen was not very well. Sure, not very well. To the point where we had to rush her to hospital in Davos, and the slacker just laid around for days. So for the first time in her life, and it was much needed. But thankfully, she's still, as Churchill once said, KBO. She keeps buggering on, and she's fine. She's fine. Nothing a cup of hibiscus won't sort. But I was very worried at one point. Very, very, very worried about her. But she's fine. She made it back as well. As much as I tried to avoid her. No, she made it back. So Davos was very, very interesting on a couple of fronts. One, I kind of know it like the back of my hand now, that and Cloisters, but I prefer Davos. And you can actually see what most people don't know or don't see. And I do, if we get chance. Junior Stevens, glad your wife's well now. How was Davos? I will talk about it. It is on the slate to talk about tonight, but it is dependent on you, really, because I think that the lives are getting a bit overwhelming. There's too. I do so much prep, and I over prep for the lives, as I did for all of my radio shows. I would literally spend 8 hours during the day for each phone in at night that I did, and then when I went on air, I would know exactly what was going on in the world and could talk about any subject at any time. And that's the same thing that I do for the lives on a Wednesday and a Sunday. But I think we need to kind of pare it down to less subjects and deeper dives, if that's okay with you. There is a poll on the community tab currently running, and I would like you to vote on it if you could, please. Now, there's normally 150, 200 people on these lives. How many have we got at the moment? Good. Numbers are increasing. If you're here, please either like the live stream and or go to the community tab, and please just give me a vote on what you want. Now, the poll has only been up there less than an hour, and I've given you 5 options of where we want to go. That there are always things happening in the background. Don't always bring them to the live streams. Because sometimes they're a bit dull and boring, and sometimes it's just, pedaling away furiously. It's not very interesting at all. But the poll tonight, I'll give you 5 options. What do you want more of from the channel. So we've taken a year and a bit just to get us established, the channel that is, and just to get it going, so you get used to me, you get to know me, you hopefully get to like me, thereby you get to trust me. And number one, if you vote number one, that's more interviews. And I will say to you that I've got 2 interviews lined up, 2 fabulous interviews, very, very interesting. Now, those interviews won't be quick ones. We may stick them on a podcast. I think you can stick them on create a podcast within YouTube. But the people that have said yes to interviews are incredible characters, very knowledgeable about their subject, and I believe will give you a great listen and a great watch. So there are more interviews coming. So if you want more interviews, just vote for that. Do you want a phone in? I know I've been promising it. And technically, we've been looking at it. I've had some very, very, very expert people. Some of my old mates from radio. Hang on. Oh, well, yeah. Sorry. Lee Jones got me distracted there. Lee Jones, it defo isn't Russell Brand then. Thank Christ. I am going to comment about Russell if we get a chance to talk about him tonight. So, do you want more of? It's very simple. Interviews. Phone in. Do you want more conspiracy subjects? Because there's stuff I know that knowledge I've accumulated over the last 40 years. Some of it I've experienced. Some of it I've experienced live on air, like 9/11, 7/7. I've been on the radio. 9/11, I was there at the heart of all the media frenzy and chaos. I can talk about that if you wish. Do you want me to do more videos? Or do you want me to do deeper dives into single subjects? Now, if you allow me... Oh, yeah, Junior Stevens. Hang on, where'd you go? What was that? Oh, Junior Stevens, that was a very good comment. Some conspiracy theories like Skinwalker Ranch from Hidden. Yeah, phone in from Neptune Gamer. So the 5 options for you on the poll are interviews, number 1, phone in, number 2, conspiracy subjects, not theories, subjects, including all the chaos that's been going on in the last 3 years. 4, do you want more videos? Or do you want deeper dives into single subjects? Now, the last time I looked, let me just have a quick flick, because I like to do that at my age. It says that, yeah, you're voting. Oh, interesting. Now, videos are kind of just paling away, 2%. It was interesting because deeper dives into single subjects and interviews were running neck and neck. But now, deeper dives into single subjects are getting the nose in front. Phone-ins and interviews are the same at 17%, but out front, conspiracy subjects. I mean, do you really want to get your teeth into those? I mean, I don't know whether you've been watching the tunnels under New York. But there's all kinds of stuff out there. But I am going to talk about stuff. But my take on stuff. And I know that a lot of the people that watch this channel, the videos and the lives and the other bits and pieces, are very critical thinkers, are very clever and critical thinkers. Oh, Damon, you're far too kind. I want all of them and more of everything. Blimey, you're going to have me working my fingers to the bone. Yeah, Gary Chabot, all 5. Richard Austin, 3 and 5, 3 and 5. Oh, okay. Not the interviews. Do you not want me to go all Rogan on you? Do you not want me to get some really good, juicy, tasty interviewees? And I have 2 lined up. And there's a really... I'm going to meander my way to Ad Blackmore. And there is a link. One of the interviewees, there is a link to what I did at the BBC back in 2004, I think it was. Now, I want to acknowledge Ad Blackmore. Those that are regulars here will know who Ad is. Ad he was just... do you mind if I call him a beautiful soul? It's the only way to describe him. He's one of life's greats. He, I've known Adi for over 20 years, and thank you to Adi's family, who his daughter Lauren very kindly got in touch with me and said, "Look, I don't know whether you know about my dad, but this happened on the 27th of December. My mum wanted you to know because he was a big fan of what you do on YouTube and on the BBC." Adi and I had known each other for easily 20 years, and he was a very funny guy, very funny. And we got to know each other because I did some daytime shows on BBC Radio Cleveland, as it was called then, BBC Radio Tees, as it's called now. And I then ended up doing a late night phone in, and Adi loved it, loved coming on literally every night if he could, and was funny and clever and erudite, but he was one of life's givers. He was one of life's true stand-up gentlemen, and I got to know his his foibles and his likes. I mean, it would have been my greatest gift if I could either have had him meet Brian May from Queen or have him do something around Queen, because it was one of his favourite bands. And he was, even 20 years ago, he was playing the guitar to me on the radio and just loved talking about Queen and Brian May. Brian May, I think, was possibly his guitar hero. And up the borough. He was a massive Middlesbrough fan. So I'd known Adi 20 years. I'd known his nom de plume, Sebastian. He used to come on, Sebastian, who was camp and funny. John, you enjoy the match. He was funny and just, I mean, I loved his characterization. I loved his humor. I loved everything that he did on my phone-ins. Even the conspiracies. We talked conspiracies many times. And the one thing that I knew Adi by was he loved life. He loved everyone and life, and just was one of life's beautiful souls. So when I heard, I got the contact from Adi's daughter Lauren while I was in Davos, and it was just earth-shattering. And it's not often that you and I get to know each other via the YouTube or via live stream, but and this is what I hope for the channel, that there's none of this silliness that goes on social media. But we can disagree sometimes, but mostly we know that life is tough sometimes, is a gift. And as I say, I'm very much saddened by Adi's passing. And it, as much as I'll joke on, shut up, as much as I'll joke on sometimes, Adi was a beautiful soul and a giant of a man, and he gave to his community. He gave back to his community. He was always doing. So I'm very honoured and very privileged that Adi was part of the congregation of the Kirk of the Battenberg, and loved it and laughed, except when he was strumming, of course, but laughed. So that's Ad Blackmore. And do you know, you can contact me, not if it's silly, but you can contact me anytime, because where we're going, I want to take you with me. You've been here with me mostly for a year, but I want to take you with me because there's lots of fun to be had. There's lots of truths to be told, and there's lots of things to talk about. And also, I want you to be heard. Having done phone-ins for 40 years, I want you to be heard. Doesn't matter what your opinion is. I want it to be heard. I want you to know that if there's something going on in your life and you're just almost picking the phone up and you want to contact me or everyone via the live streams and the things that we're going to do, I want you to be heard. No equivocation. I want you to be heard. And that's what we're here for. So you know, we soon sort out the the silliness. Oh, Vivian Kenyon, Vivian, oh, you're very kind. You're me Pied Piper. To Neptune Gamer, he will record you like, I'm not quite sure what that means. Maybe it's a foreign language. Napoleon blown apart. Good to have you here. Agreed completely with Dame Anna. Adrian, I didn't realise he was a personal friend. Deepest condolences to you. I wouldn't say a personal friend, but known him for over 20 years through media, through late night phone-ins, and when AD came onto the channel, when he let himself be known that he was here, it was just such a tonic. Because at the time I was being hacked left, right and centre. So to have someone who was friendly was lovely. But thank you, Dame Anna. To Warren Francis, yo, Adrian, my G. Oh, you smooth talking bar steward. Retro on his bikes, I've missed the start. Is it sad news? I don't know whether you, one of the regulars passed away over Christmas. Retro. A guy called Ad Blackmore, whom I knew from my late night phone-ins in the Northeast. But Ad wouldn't want us to kind of wring our hands and get all maudlin on him. He would want us to be entertaining. He would want us to get into the real granular detail of things. So that's what we will do. So wherever Ad is now, I wish him a speedy voyage, and I wish him lots of love. So, told you about the poll. 5 options. Let's have a quick look. I've got me hibiscus. I'm fine. I've got me hibiscus. I'm going to have a quick look at the poll. Make sure that you're still voting. Yeah, utter wrong-uns. And, oh, yeah. Oh, let's have a look. Oh, blimey. You do love the meaty stuff. Conspiracy subjects is still miles out. I mean, it was 44, 45% when I started. It's now nearly 50. Deeper dives and phone-ins and interviews, but videos. So thank you. Just keep voting, please, please, please. We've had more votes than we've had likes on the live stream. You utter wrong'un. So with all these people here, so let's go to Davos first. Now I love Davos. It's just a little skiing place in Switzerland, but it's become synonymous with the World Economic Forum over the last 50 years. The WEF, World Economic Forum, has been going for over 50 years in Davos, in Switzerland. And yet it's only come onto your radar the last few years. And I don't know why. Well, I do. But this is where Mad Matt UK 123, if you go to the community tab on the channel, it's there. There's 5 options. I'll give these before I get deeper into Davos. It's on the community tab. The poll is, what do you want more of from the channel? And first option is interviews, currently running at about 16%. Phone-ins, running at about 16%. Conspiracy subjects at 47%. Videos, 2%. Poor videos. And deeper dives into single subjects, which is at 19%, I think. So the more votes, the more I get an insight into what you want from the channel and more of. And as I have said repeatedly in the last 15 months or so, I've been doing late night phone-ins and lunchtime phone-ins on commercial radio and the BBC around the UK, whether it be in Scotland, in Edinburgh, or Wales with the Real Radio out of Cardiff, or whether it be the North East, North West, East Midlands, London on LBC. I've talked about some incredible subjects, and I want to bring those here. So it's entirely down to you. Napoleon blown apart. I want more hours of Adrian just saying, oh, Napoleon blown apart. There's only 24 hours in a day. Give me a break. I want to sleep sometime. Do I? Hibiscus keeps you going. Jack Glasgow. A few dignitaries said things I don't think they were expecting. Sorry, Jackie. Not sure what that meant. Hang on. Oh, yeah. Go to the homepage and then click community. Junie Stevens, 1, 2, and 4. Hang on. 1, 2, and 4. Interesting. Napoleon blown apart. Sleep is overrated. It's for wimps. Napoleon blown apart. So let's get to Davos. Now, you're probably looking at the Bond villain, Klaus Schwab, the wrong one. And you're thinking, well, he's the baddie. No, he's just the front man. He's just the front man. Don't you get it? That's how it all works. If you look at Rich Boy Sunak today, PMQs, he wasn't addressing the things that you want addressing. He wasn't getting stuff sorted that you want sorting. No, don't be silly. So Klaus Schwab, with his, is it Austrian or German accent? The powers, the real powers, want you to focus on him. Because it diverts you from what's really going on. So I'll give you an example. So what do you think came out of Davos this year? If someone was to ask me, Adrian, you were there for a week, I was there, everybody left on the Friday and I went in on the Saturday. So, and they were still what's called de-rigging, they were still taking stuff down. Now, why would they go to Davos? Why would they have the WEF, the World Economic Forum, in Davos? Because Davos has got over 3,000 hotel rooms. It's a conference centre heaven. It's got different parts of Davos doing different things. And that's why I want you to know that Davos is just not, bonkers Schwab, says Theo Bovril. And Jip Atkinson, remote? That's why they want you to focus on him, because when you're focusing on Klaus Schwab, then you're not noticing anything else. And genuinely, and I'm not going to bring some stuff here, because I know more than I let on. Theo Bovril, personal digital identities? No, that's Blair. Yeah, Charles Linton. Just Google Charles Linton. Oh, you might have to wash your eyeballs after you do. Charles Linton Blair. I'm not doing your work for you. Oh, Jib Atkinson, sorry. Remote, I get it. Remote place to gather. It is, and if you want to get, you fly into Zurich, and if you want to get up to Davos, you can get a train or you can drive. Drive's about 2.5 hours. Or you can get the train, which is probably about the same, about 2.25. Stops at a few places, but it's beautiful. It's Switzerland. It's full of snow-topped mountains, as you will see when I start posting the stuff that the pictures of some of the most beautiful scenery you're ever going to see in your life. The water, there's nout in the water. It's proper water. You can drink it out of the tap, as I used to as a boy in the northeast of England, because the water was always fabulous. But I'm telling you this now, so Davos, for about 100 years, has been a place where people have gone to rest and recuperate, get the clean air, and just look after themselves. There's places up in the mountains in Davos that you've got to get a vernacular up the mountain to go to certain hotels, and they're breathtaking. So let's refocus. Not that you're distracting me, but caviar and feather pillows. Oh, Jim Atkinson, you're far too kind. Bring them round. I need them. Junior Stevens, did you meet any divs? I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean, Junior Stevens. Did you meet any divs in Davos? What do you mean by that? Vivian Kenyon, been to Interlaken in Switzerland 3 times. Spectacular. Viv, it's I think I've skied Austria quite a few times. I've skied Bulgaria. I've skied some of the Eastern Bloc countries. But Switzerland, the Swiss people are just... And they know how the world views them. Not the Swiss, but Davos. They know. And I talk to loads of them because there's nothing better for me. I walk around. No, Retro, you're not too old to start skiing. Look, if I can scream like a girl and with planks of wood on the end of my leg down some very steep slopes, anybody can do it. At my age, anybody can do it. Hang on. What's Katie Webster said? Honestly, you don't have to distract me. Nikki, Blair's pulling Starmer's strings. Oh, you bet your sweet Pippi. Now there's Tony Blair. He was in Epstein's Black Book. What's Charles Linton? Well, I might know what Charles Linton is doing in the Black Book, but what's Tony Blair doing in in Jeffrey Epstein. And there's Mandy Mandelson. Had 8 numbers for Mandy Mandelson. What was going on there then? Have you noticed that all the Epstein stuff's kind of disappeared? They released some stuff in early January, and the Clintons buggered off to Mexico, and then, ooh, no, nothing more. They're taking you for fools. I've told you, don't read and look at the news in situ. Look at it with like a month or two in between the headlines, because I was doing that yesterday. We'll talk about brand in a second. So what they were promulgating, what they were kind of broadcasting, if you wish, out of Davos was, oh, it's disease X, it's disease X, yeah, everybody's going to die, it's disease X. That's not what they were talking about. They weren't. I mean, Klaus Schwab might have stood up and made it interesting. And then there's Ursula von der Leyen. You know Ursula, head of Europe. We have to make sure that the public trust us. Damn right, after the last 3 years. We know what you're up to. We've seen through you. Ursula von der Leyen. Telling you. Next 2 years, they've got to regain your trust. Are you going to do that for them? So that was kind of the headline grabbing stuff. Disease X, Klaus Schwab, Ursula von der Leyen. But what else was going on? I can tell you. It's the fear project. That's how they get control of you. It's fear. That's all. That's all they're doing. Like they can gob off. And all the newspapers go, oh, yes, massa, yes, massa, yes, massa. Print. And they tell them what to print. Ursula Undress, ain't you wrong? Education, education, education. Free internet for the youth. Do you know, Neptune Gamer, that the part of the submission for the 2012 Olympic Games was that they would give everybody in the United Kingdom super fast broadband. And they're talking the same as in France and in Germany, where it's over 100 meg speed. 100 meg. Can you imagine? I remember the dial-up when you were getting kilobits, never mind megabits. So Gordon Brown, who sold all the gold off, cheap, bless him, that's what's coming. Labour doesn't change its spots. Let me tell you, they'll flog their granny to make it look like they know what they're doing. I've excreted more brainy stuff than those idiots. Oh, by the way, if Sakir's watching, obviously a regular, whatever happened to Jimmy Savile's file? Was it file 13 in the bin? So they promised us super fast broadband. We didn't get it. Mind you, you've got old Beardy. There's old Beardy. Jeffrey Epstein's mate. Another one. Old Beardy. How are you, man? Beardy, give us super fast broadband. I've been one of your customers. It was shite. Oh, did I say that out loud? So, what was coming out of Davos? It's all AI. It's the only thing they were talking about. It's the only thing they wanted to talk about. But they don't want you because, look, Klaus keeps telling you, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. So if AI is able to make you any money whatsoever, then you're not going to be able to be controlled, are you? No. So that's why they don't want you to talk about AI or AI be on your radar or AI do anything for you other than keep you fearful. Oh, no, AI, it's going to end the world. It's going to end humanity. It's going to kill everybody. Then it's going to rule the world. Oh, please. Look, follow the money, look at the profit. So at the moment we've got Apple, and I'll give you more detail on that, but Apple are now into AI. So you know that little plastic thing that you hold in your hand? No, not that. I'm talking about your iPhone. They're doing stuff. And if you look at, say, YouTube, and Google and Alphabet. Quarter 4, traditionally, quarter 4 is where most commercial entities make the most money, because you've got Christmas and you've got people making random purchases, impulse purchases for presents and other people. So in quarter 4 of the year, that's when the most people make money. So the quarter 4 accounts are coming out for lots and lots of big companies, and some of them have made a few bob, but Alphabet, the parent company for Google and YouTube and other entities for Google, their ad revenue only went up 3%. Now, that might not sound much, but, Alphabet's turning over nearly $70 billion in one quarter. That's, they're getting the $250 billion turnover, just turnover. That's how people make their money. So what's coming out of Davos is a lot of the tech companies are talking about AI. And you've got Elon Musk on I was told the 26th of January, which was last Friday. But it's hitting the newspapers yesterday and today that Neuralink, his company, have actually put a chip in somebody's brain. Is that going to make them any more intelligent, or is that going to control them? I mean, trot them out then. I mean, they're just saying they put it in somebody's brain. They're not saying what the outcome of that was, whether they lived or died, or whether they were able to suddenly learn German in half an hour, or whether it was a scene from The Matrix where Neo gets that thing stuck in the back of his head, and all of a sudden he's learning martial arts, and he's fighting everybody and beating everybody, and he learns martial arts in like 3 minutes. All of them. Don't know whether it's going to be like that, but that's what they were talking about. So the fear project on the one hand, out of the WEF and Davos, is you will own nothing and you will be happy. But the reality of it is there's a lot of good coming out of Davos. It's all about connections. It's all about relationships. It's all about meeting. So if you've got over 3,000 people going to Davos, some of them are politicians, some of them are tech companies, some of them are other people. I know that it was reported in the press that, was it the Germans? Somebody was very unhappy at the amount of Chinese delegates. Well, the Chinese can do whatever they want. Oh, Yuval Harari. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah. Kate's died. I'm not sure what Kate's doing. But it's... So the point that I'm trying to make to you is this. There's a lot of good that goes on in Davos, but you just get Project Fear in the mainstream media. And I'll ask you a question. Why are you reading the absolute BS that comes out of the newspapers? I've told you many times. The only thing that the newspapers never get wrong is the price on the front. Everything else is Jackanory. But they're telling you, oh, Klaus Schwab said this, you will own nothing and be happy. Well, he's not quite there yet, and I know they wanted it by 2030. I'm sure you're very well aware of what's going on in the world and some of the things in the background. But they're not going to do that because Ursula von der Leyen is a very powerful woman, and if she's saying to the world, we have to regain their trust over the next 2 years, the people that are trying to govern us and control us know that we're waking up and we're not stupid. So they're just going to have to back off for a couple of years. But these are the people that, remember when they got us into the European Super Union, because that's what it was called in the 70s, Edward Heath, just don't go sailing with him. Do your own research. Just don't go swimming with him. Neptune Gamer, not texting much now, just listening. Last question, though. Why on the police hats is it still instead of... Oh, very good point. Well, he's only been on the throne a year as young Charles. Wiggy videos. Good to see you're on the same page. Savile and Heath, the wrong uns, utter wrong uns. Just don't ask me about Sir John Gielgud. And no, Adrian, no. You will have the men in black knocking on your front door. So there are things that go on within. This is not just the only place. I mean, there's meetings all over the world. Cyril Smith, yeah. Thank you, Tailblock Tracy. And I just think that human nature. Klaus Schwab is the diversion. Just the next time you see him going, just look and laugh, because he's the diversion. What, you think he runs the world? Of course he don't. He ain't got the money to. People that have got the money are starting war in the Middle East. They're not doing anything with the WEF. And some of the people that I spoke to just kind of passed conversation. And I just said, Kate Webster, Adrian, this is relative to the convo. My mum bought me a new tablet for my birthday. Oh, lovely. Congratulations, Kate. It literally set itself up and connected to Wi-Fi without me putting a password in. All my data from phone to tablet in seconds. Wow. They're not daft, are they, Kate? No. So, and you actually led me into a beautiful segue, Kate, because I told you that the major topic, whether it be in Davos at WEF or other meeting places around the world, it's AI. Some people are trying to they're trying to have it do good things. They're trying to have it enhance humanity. And obviously there'll be utter wrong-uns trying to use it for their own. I want to be a multimillionaire. I want to be Andrew Tate. I want to be Bugatti. That's because you're controlled. That's because you're programmed. Yeah, wrong-un. If you realised that all of that's worthless. Now, I know you're going to say, well, hang on a second. How am I going to put food on the table, Adrian? If I can make a few bob out of AI, why not? Yeah, fill your boots. Do it. And then get back to me when you turn around and go, well, it didn't make me happy, Adrian. I've been there, scored the goal and got the T-shirt. Didn't make me happy, which is why I'm fantastically happy with absolutely bugger all. Because it don't matter. No pockets and shrouds. But you're being programmed. That's how they keep economies going. You're programmed, man. You're just a cash cow. But here's a question for you that you've never considered. I know you haven't, because sometimes I'm a little ahead of the game. And I know that other people haven't, because they'll shit themselves if this comes out. What about GDPR? You know all the searches you're doing in AI? All the stuff that you're searching for in AI? All the things that you're creating in AI? Where does all your data go to? I'll wait. You don't know. So who's got control of that data? There's Kate saying, got a lovely birthday present, and all of a sudden, all of her data's like across from a phone onto a tablet. They know what they're doing. And what do you mean, who's they? The people that can start a war in the Middle East, and you go, okay. It's not the WEF. Klaus is just a diversion like Rich Boy Sunak. Rich Boy Sunak, I mean, you know, I've said this to you many times. Cockeyed. Did you see him being interviewed by Ryland, who's about 4 foot taller than him? I swear to God, he's a spitting image puppet. And you know how they're programming? I know this is kind of a stream of consciousness, but do you know how Rich Boy kind of gets up and goes, I'm as hard as nails, me. Here, mate, you haven't passed your GCSEs yet, have you? Rich Boy. Or are you just doing as your wife tells you? Man can't be a real man if he's told by his wife what to do. Behave. Oh, hang on. Mrs. Allen's not listening. Yeah, Hayden says, the post office scandal. They said that they were using out-of-date software, but I can guarantee that most people do not know that the high street shops still use Windows XP. Oh, I know. So I'm not going to tell you how I know, but some very, very major organisations are still using Windows from about 25 years ago. Wiki Videos 14 and Google setting up a data center in the UK. Oh, interesting, Wiki. Have they? Hang on, let's use that hand. Suppose I've just equalised. So where I'd like to, the gift that I'm trying to give you is this. Don't take anything at face value. Because there's James not so cleverly, he said today on the front of the newspapers, oh, the plan to cut immigration by 300,000 a year is working. And I quote, what's he doing? Giving them all Rehypnol? Or is he just going down to Kent and telling them, oh, it's all shite here? James not so cleverly. Is he the attack dog just defending the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister, look, he's a very wealthy boy, 730 million, or was it 780 million pounds worth of riches? Him and his missus. Well, now that he's Prime Minister, he'll go to the House of Lords when they can decide what they're going to do with Boris, because it's a pecking order. Charles Linton's gone in there. So they've got Theresa May and Liz Truss and all the rest to put into the House of Lords before Rich Boy gets there. But by virtue of being Prime Minister, he'll end up being a life peer. He doesn't care about you. He just cares about getting into power. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to say to you, oh, we've got this, don't worry. Yeah, we'll stop the boats. Have you absolute bollocks? Foxtrot Oscar, Rich Boy, and all of your cohorts. You're talking out of your jacksie. We know. We're not stupid. We know that you're going to be decimated at the general election, which is why we want it now. And you're not going to bring it until the end of the year. Unless you suddenly go to the country thinking, ooh, I might just sneak back in. You're gone, done, finished. The Tories, knock, knock, who's there? The Tory party, the Conservatives. I thought you died 100 years ago. I'm telling you, very few Labour Prime Ministers, mostly Tory, but at the next general election, they're going to be counting their seats in single digits. 1, 2. Let me just, I'll go to Alex Belfield in a second. But so the next time you hear about Klaus Schwab, think of this. You thought it was about disease X. You thought everybody was going to die. No. All the delegates were talking about AI because we stand at a crossroads, if you will, the same as when the internet was devised. I've been attached to the internet now for 30 odd years. I bought my first Apple Mac in 1991. And I've been with a little dial-up modem attached to the internet for over a generation and a half. So we stand with AI at a similar place. The internet revolutionized humanity. Same as the wheel, same as the Industrial Revolution, same as the printing press. The AI is going to have that much power. But what they're doing to you is they're injecting the poison. They're putting the poison in and saying to you, be scared, be scared. No, just switch it off at the wall. I mean, to think we're stupid. Are we? I mean, wasn't it last 18 months ago when there was an engineer of a particular company who said that the AI was sentient, the AI was aware of itself? Look, I know human beings that are not sentient. I know human beings that haven't got 2 IQ points to rub together. So if AI's managed to get that far, good on them. Mind, there's Elon Musk, Neuralink. Read the story. They put it in somebody's brain. I don't know whether they've died or not. Well, I don't know whether they've gone for a jog. I don't know whether they're now the $6 million man with Lindsay Wagner as his mate, putting the rights of wrongs. Because they're not going to tell us. Because they want to make profit. They want control. They want power. It's like, I've said to you before, they reckon that planet Earth is like trillions and trillions in debt. How can planet Earth be in debt? Who to? Mars. It's the system. That's how they control you. Debt. Now, remember in the 80s when Thatcher worked out that a working man wouldn't strike if he had a mortgage to pay. That's why she sold off all the council housing stock, because all of a sudden the miners needed to pay their mortgage. They couldn't go on strike. Aidan says, Aidan 2012, resistance is futile. No, resistance is now. Just don't buy into the bullshit. Just don't look. I mean, it's the press. The worst, the poison in society. If you want to have peace of mind and you want a contented life, turn the telly off. Don't read the newspapers. The newspapers are the worst at it. So as I keep saying, I've got a newspaper archive. And every now and again I go flicking through it. And whatever happened to the post office story? Whatever happened to On Me Ed, the leader of the Lib Dems? Because everybody was calling for his head. Ed. Head. And what happened? Nothing. Nothing. Some poor bloke that's been running the post office for about the last 10 months or so, or maybe 18 months, he's been given the Spanish elbow. Spanish Archer. Elbow. And everybody's going, brilliant, brilliant. Hang on a second. What about those politicians that were there at the pointy end? Whatever happened to all those investigators who were at the pointy end, who were ruining people's lives, who were leading people to such a dark place that they took their own lives when there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds erroneously taken from postmasters and mistresses? That's not even being paid back. And yet we've got the little schoolboy, the jockey, standing at the dispatch box going, oh, well, we paid out all these millions. Bollocks to that. How many billions is Trotter Cameron shoving in his arse pocket from all the deals that he's doing in the Middle East? What about Rich Boy Sunk? How much money is he making by all the dodgy deals in the Middle East? And they're talking about, oh, we'll give them 100 million between 1,000 of them. If it was the politicians, they would literally be handing out tens of trillions of pounds to each other if it was them. But us, no, can't have you wealthy. No, can't have you having a beautiful life. No, no, struggle. That's what you're here for. No, we're not. I'm a fractal of the ineffable experiencing itself as consciousness. Fuck off. Apologies. But it does get me riled up. They think we're stupid and we're not. So I was going through the newspapers, post office, yes. I was going through the newspapers, and I've kept all the newspapers with the Russell Brand stories in them. Oh. And have you seen the interview that Russell Brand's done with Tucker Carlson? Somebody said he's a moron with a thesaurus. Oh, that's really close. Now, if you look at what Russell Brand says, he doesn't actually say anything. He doesn't. It's all in the public domain. He's not Alex Jones. He's not going to Bohemian Grove. He's not going anywhere near America because there's a rape charge out there. The minute he steps into America, there you go, handcuffs. So he's not going to go to America. I don't know where Tucker Carlson did the interview. Was it at his house in on the Thames? Somebody called Russell Brand Jack Sparrow with a yoga mat. Oh, cruel, 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 cruel. Terry Wookfit. No one goes into public service to serve the public. It's to line their own pockets. Absolutely. Nail, head, hit. Cheers, Terry. So, if Russell Brand has the courage of his convictions, why isn't he doing the stories on the tunnels in New York? Why isn't he doing the stories on who we know was close cohorts with Jeffrey Epstein? Why isn't he doing stories about the very powerful people that never expose themselves to the light. Come on, Russell, mate. I think there's something going to come out. So he's going harder. Pun intended. He's going harder. Yeah, Talbot, Tracy, Club of Rome. But those two, a moron with a thesaurus and Jack Sparrow with a yoga mat, people have got him. They've absolutely got him. And it doesn't matter how much he's making. Money doesn't mean anything. Look, we're all going to die. I hate to tell you this. It might be a happy ending, but we're all going. Nothing will keep us here. Absolutely nothing. And you can tell when he's doing Rumble or whether he's doing YouTube. He wears a yellow hat. Haven't you worked that one out yet? I mean, it's all just diversion, distraction from the truth. I mean, he's talked about the Charlie 19, and he's kind of talking about Epstein, but Epstein's a dead man, so you can't defame a dead man. And where was all the names from Maxwell House? Where are all the names she was going to expose? And where's all the names that were going to be in these releases during January? And everybody was getting, it was chaotic, and everybody forgot. Oh, it was just the next distraction. So let's just throw that at you while we're making billions from missile warheads in the Middle East. Has anybody asked why? Look, Sniffy Joe, they need to put speed on his cornflakes to get him up on a morning, according to Alex Jones. And he's like, oh, don't worry, lads. We had a drone coming back, and, it got mixed up with a drone that was coming in by terrorists, and it killed 3 American soldiers. Really? Sniffy thinks that we're going to take that as the truth? Hathaway and shite, man. Oh, they've got to have deniability. And look, they're putting this man, Sniffy, from the OCG, the Biden crime family, they're putting him, I mean, he's 150. He can barely walk and talk at the same time. He definitely can't walk, talk, and chew gum. They're putting him up as the next president. I mean, it's America eating itself. It's corruption. It's literally, they are doing everything. And I know some people kind of go, oh, here he goes. He's on about MAGA and he's on about Trump. No, I'm on about the whole system. The whole system's corrupt. How can an American politician who goes in and say, for argument's sake, they're making $250,000 a year in office and they're in there for maybe 4 or 5 years. So $1 million at most. They're walking out with hundreds of millions in their trouser pocket. How does that work? Was it huge expenses? How does that work? It's corrupt. It's corruption. And they're trying to lead the Western world. No, the wonder China and Russia are laughing at them. Oh, by the way, knock, knock. Who's there? Vladimir. Vladimir who? I think he killed himself in October. Sorry, heart attack in October. So it's all... So let me tell you what Apple's going to do with AI. So Apple are coming to the AI table. Remember, with like mobile phones and stuff, they weren't first to the table with a mobile phone. I mean, I had, was it an Oki? OKI? Was it a Swedish firm? I think my first phone in 1988, my first mobile phone in 1988, Ericsson in 1988 had a fabulous mobile phone. Apple didn't arrive with the iPhone for another 14 years. 2008, when I got my first iPhone, that was easily, hang on, I'm trying to do some quick arithmetic here. So that's 88, 10, 18, 28, bloody hell, 20 years after I got my first mobile phone, Apple comes to the market. So AI's been going on in the background, even to the point where, I think this computer's sentient. Well, turn it off at the wall then, arse. And Apple are coming with AI this year, this summer. So they're talking, well, they're not calling it AI because I think that's probably going to upset a few people. They're calling it machine learning. Oh, how wonderful is that? How scary is that going to be? The machines are taking over the world. The machines. It's like War of the Worlds. The machines. Switch it off. And if you get attacked by a machine that you think sentient, just pour some water on it. I mean, I've watched Star Trek, Captain Kirk. They took aliens on. They fought aliens. Didn't have to fight machines. Why? Because the machines are shite, man. Just pour water on them or switch them off at the wall. I mean, how many times have you been told by an IT specialist, oh, your computer's not working? Have you tried switching it off and switching it back on again? So if your AI's not working, what they're going to do? Hello, is that IT support? Yeah, my AI's trying to kill me. Well, switch it off then. What do you mean? It's AI. It's a computer. It needs electricity to function. Switch it off. Mind you, don't put it in a car. Are you still seeing all the fires that are being created by electric vehicles? Are you watching the buses just go spontaneously combust? Have you noticed that some of the insurance companies are not going to insure if you keep your, one of those, your bikes, your electric bikes and your electric scooters and all, if you keep those in your house, forget it, they're not going to insure you because they just go poof during the night. Why? Because people are overcharging them. It's that simple. People forget AI and your electric scooters, what do they need? And electric vehicles? They need electric. People are saying, oh, well, that's what they're going to use. That's what Klaus Schwab is going to use. He's going to stop us 15-minute cities. Have you been to London recently? Sadiq Carnage. He couldn't organise a pee up in a brewery, that boy, but he still wants your money. Oh, yeah, 15-minute cities. My hairy backside. They'll try. How close will they get? Well, it depends on how good the AI's coming out of Apple is. So they're going to have machine learning with iOS 18, which normally comes out during the summer, doesn't it? Ready for the devices in September. The user interface, the UI, they're going to redesign, and the code name is Crystal. Not Crystal Tips and Alistair, if you're old enough to get that contemporary reference. There's going to be icon overhauls. They're anticipating depth-enhanced icons, similar to the macOS style revamped control center customization. So, yeah, they'll slowly do it and they'll improve it while you keep buying their devices. That's what they've done with the iPhone. Look, it's 16 years. I'm up to iPhone 14. There's iPhone 15 currently out and 16's coming up. So I would expect cross-platform texts because there's EU regulations. Ursula von der Leyen coming out going, oh, lads, you can't do that. I'm in charge. I'm a woman. I'm in charge. Forget the glass ceiling. I'm in charge. So Apple are going to introduce the app side loading. God knows what that means. Siri expected to become more intelligent and efficient. Oh, behave. Stop it. Steve Jobs will be spinning in his grave. Siri, Alexa. Anyway, Apple are never first to the market, but they come to the market and they bring style to it. So it's likely early June. Keep your eye open for it. Not telling you my source. I'm just telling you it's accurate. Where are we? God blimey. I want to talk about Alex Belfield. Now, from the very get-go, and by the way, there's many people watching this, start smashing the likes, you utter wrong-uns. And the poll, please don't forget the poll. Go to the community tab on the homepage, community tab. Under there, you'll see the poll. There's 5 options. Interviews, number 1. Phone-in, number 2. Conspiracy subjects, number 3, which appeared to be winning. Videos, number 4. And deeper dives into single subjects, Number 5, and let me just check, see where we are with that before I get to Alex Belfield. Thank you for the votes. Curious. So leading is conspiracy subjects. Do you want to get stuck into those? Nearly 50%. You love them. Deeper dives, 21%. Then the phone-in over interviews. Do I do interviews on the phone-in? That'll mess with your noodle. So phone-ins at 16% and interviews at 12%, but the poor videos. I mean, who's picking on the videos? 1%. So we'll kind of round off. We'll have another 5 or 10 minutes or so, but we'll round off with Alex. Now, I'm very well aware of the updates, but I will tell you this. As much as people will try to control the narrative, they can't. Because the truth is the truth is the truth. And I know Katie Hopkins, evening Katie, love a salute. She's saying hurty words. Well, here, Katie, man, how do we end shite? He's a self-admitted liar in a court of law. When Jeremy Vine took him to court for defamation, and remember, you were one of the people that posted a video on YouTube about Jeremy Vine, and then you took it straight down when you realised you were in the shite again. So, my advice to you is this. Alex Belfield, self-admitted liar in a court of law. Self-admitted liar. So don't try and control the narrative. I know he's one of the few ways of you earning money. What happened to TNT Radio, Katie? Now, you and I have both presented on LBC, so we know what the deal is. What happened to TNT Radio? Wi-Fi? In a £500,000 house, Katie? Oh, here, man. I'm not daft all day. But I will say this. People need to leave Alex alone. Because he's not having a great time of it inside. And these people that say they are his friends, I don't believe that. They just want him out of jail and they want him performing. No, that boy, and I don't want to go into any further detail, but he's suffering inside. I will tell you this. Why would Alex Belfield be moved? He was transferred as a VP, vulnerable prisoner. How did they determine that he was a vulnerable prisoner? Now, I will tell you this categorically, that the prisoner, whomever they may get their own case manager who will make sure they are asked about their mental health. For example, if they're feeling depressed, they'll get regular support from a health specialist. And I'm hoping that being transferred from HMP Stockton, which is not an easy place to survive at all. I was going to do a video and then I decided against it. You go and do your research on HMP Stockton. It's not an easy or great place to be. And neither is HMP Five Wells. So to say that everything is fine and dandy in the garden of Alex Belfield actually does him a disservice. And my message to Alex, because I know he's got emails and I know he's got people watching what I do, has been consistent all the way through. Grind it out, do your time and get out. But please be aware that he's coming out on license. He's not coming out to do what he wants. He will come out of prison in June 2025, still 17 months away, and he will be subject to a license agreement. And if they feel that he is either a danger to himself or to others in any way, shape or form, that license agreement will be stringent. So don't presume that he's coming straight out and coming straight on YouTube or social media. He might not know by the time that X has finished with this and Elon Musk has finished with this and X is all of a sudden the everything app. Going from stage, he can't talk about the court case. There are restrictions in place. He can't talk about it. The minute he does, he goes back in. He will not want to go back to prison. And that license will last for nearly 3 years when he comes out. So don't believe all this BS that people are talking about. He's been given a sentence for a reason. And there was a guy the other day who was jailed for 9 years for creating multiple accounts and stalking people online. So there is the rub in today's society. The judiciary have realised that they have to make examples of people to stop all of the others doing that. So now you've got an autistic guy, 9 years in jail. His mum had left the jail when he'd been ordered 7 years inside. And then the judge ordered him back and said, oh, look, I've made a mistake. You're getting 9 years. Alex was given 5.5 years. The judge made a mistake, and Alex was warned, if you appeal this, there's 2.5 years that could be added to your tariff. Alex did the right thing. He didn't challenge it. Just do your time. But when he comes out, those that need him to be the performing monkey are going to have to be gentle with him, because there's mental health issues here. And those need to be supported. He's a broken man. He's not coming out the man that went in. Remember? On your knees with Belfield. Oh, it's a cruise. Well, the reality is different from the perception. And as I've said many times before, I hope that Alex gets the support he needs whilst he's inside. He will get specialist and expert care. I'm hoping that Five Wells have a very good medicine centre and a very, very, very good psychological support team. I think Alex is done. He's got life-changing money. He can zip off abroad somewhere. There's not many places he can go. He can't go to Australia. He can't go to America. There's certain places in Europe he can't go, because the minute you are given a tariff of over 5 years, it places restrictions on you. But these people are just acting as if nothing's happened and it was hurty words. No! The judiciary have had enough of it all. It's not hurty words. He's a self-admitted liar in a court of law. And people keep avoiding that. Oh, shall we not address that? Well, it's truth. Junior Stevens, if you've just printed what I think you've just printed, you can fuck off, boy. You're either trying to be funny or trying to be clever. I'm talking about somebody who's suffering with mental health. All these people that need him to be on stage so they can make money from it. Oh, how grubby is that? Enough. And if you ever have the misfortune of going into prison officers are trained, the staff are trained to spot prisoners at risk of bullying, suicide, or self-harm. To put it quite simply, staff try to keep an eye on people to make sure they're not staff try and keep an eye on people to make sure that they're not a risk to themselves or to others. Stockton and Five Wells are violent places. And I told you in the beginning, because I've known him since he was 17, he did not, does not, will not have the skills or tools to be able to deal with that kind of environment. And he's still got 17 months to do. He will be a completely different man when he comes out of jail, because he's broken. And when people say, oh, he was lucid, that's my word. And you know that photo that Katie has of her and Alex? It's photoshopped. I don't know who's done it or why, but it's a fake. It might be her and Alex, but remember, she said he would be wearing an armband to identify the prisoner, the kind of prisoner. He's a vulnerable prisoner. Why was he transferred? Thereby lies the truth. It's just tawdry and grubby and in the name of money. Alex is broken. I will promise you this, that he will not be the man coming out of prison that went in. And he knows he's still got nearly 3 years on license. It might be comfortable in Mansfield, but it'll take him a couple of weeks just to kind of shake off the vestiges of being inside. But if he's going to go back in, if he is going to break the terms of his license, he will go back in within 3 months. It's well known that the reoffending rate is normally within 90 days. So again, Andy Turner, he will do a book to get back some money. He's got life-changing money in the bank. And yeah, I'm sure that he can write a book. I'm not sure what about. Can't write about the court case in any way, shape or form. That's restricted. Can he write about his time in jail? How interesting is that going to be? Unless he's meeting some... I mean, HMP 5 Wells is more your fraudsters and your kind of white-collar offences. Stockton has really tasty people in there. And by tasty, I mean violent. So, and there may be that kind of... He might have been a target. He might have been someone that the other lags had worked out what he was doing and how he was doing it, and that he might have had a few bob secreted away in his bank account. So there might have been some blackmailing going on. Who knows? Only Alex will know. And it's not for me to speculate. But the one thing that I do know, there are mental health issues here. And I've said this before, and I said it from September 2022. I hope he gets the support and help that he needs. Because it's not easy. That's why most people don't break the law. I'll ask you one more time, if you could, please. Smash the likes, get us through 100. And the community tab. So, homepage, community tab. The poll is, what do you want more of? Blimey, Jeremy, are you, honestly, are you... Jeremy Carson said, he's a good laugh and he'll do fine inside. He may be a better man than the one that went in. Jeremy, have you just heard what I've told you? He's been transferred as a vulnerable prisoner. He was transferred for a reason. Have you heard anyone tell you what the reason is? And I will tell you this, that HMP 5 Wells is in Wellingborough, near Northampton. It might be easy to get to on a train, but it's further away from his family in Mansfield. Prison service don't do that. Unless, of course, he's not getting any family visiting, but then that leads us to another question. Why isn't his family visiting him in prison? And Katie Hopkins, why has it taken her 16 months to go and visit him? She wasn't allowed in HMP Stockton. Why was that? So if anybody knows the reason why he's been transferred, that will lead you down the path of truth. He was transferred as a vulnerable prisoner. And why has Katie had to fake the photograph of her and him, seemingly in HMP 5 Wells? It's very easy to see that the video that she did outside saying she was about to go in, she was wearing a certain kind of earring, her freedom earrings. And yet in the picture she wasn't wearing them. I mean, how weird. She was trained at Sandhurst. She should know better than that. Observational skills. Called Ninja no Kyomen. That's what my martial art trained me. Anyway. Stuart, I didn't think you were allowed cameras in prison. Well, he's been transferred from one Cat C prison to another. Not down and not up. Not a B or a D. He's been transferred from one Cat C prison to another. Now, this Cat C HMB 5 Wells was opened 3 years ago now, 2021. Seemingly, they get their own cell, they get an ensuite. It's a much better prison to be in. But I am telling you categorically, there is a reason why he has been transferred to that prison. Nobody is saying what that is. You don't get transferred as a vulnerable prisoner for nothing. HMP 5 Wells has a printing facility inside, tab block tracing. Oh, it's got some great sporting facilities. It's known as a diversity prison. So maybe Alex is coming to terms with himself, and because of that, needed to be transferred as vulnerable. I don't know. It's all speculation. But I do hope that HMP 5 Wells is good for him. And all this grubbiness on social media, it needs to stop, man. In support of Alex's mental health. Not easy. Thank you for your likes, your support as always, but most of all your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. Don't forget to smash the likes. Don't forget to give me more votes in the poll on the community tab, homepage, community tab, and poll. Let's just before I wander off and recharge my hibiscus. Yeah, votes are going. Ooh. So videos have gone up 1%, but conspiracy subjects are 51%. So 1 in 2 votes. Deeper dives into single subjects, 20%. Interviews, 11%. But phone-ins, second, third favourite. So you're after more conspiracy subjects, deeper dives into single subjects, and phone-ins. Curiouser and curiouser. Your wish is my command. Don't forget the next live is on Sunday at 8 o'clock. And we have some things planned. We already have 2 interviews agreed. I'm really looking forward to doing those. And I want to bring some of my skill set. I want to bring some of the stuff that I used to do on the radio to this channel, because I think interviews are a great way. And maybe we'll start a podcast for the audio that we're going to do on the interviews. But it's all supposition. It's all to play for. Be well, stay safe, and don't forget the Battenberg. Yeah, wrong.